Okay, so let's talk about this one a little bit. So what you should have written down is your V1 is 100 kilometers an hour. That's velocity, right? Because it's distance over time. So you have, I mean a speed, because without direction it's just speed. And you know T1 is equal to 1.5 hours. Since I'm dealing with kilometers per hour and hours, I'm not going to convert it to meters per second and seconds, because that would just be kind of a waste of time. If you want to, it would still be okay. Okay, it would still be okay, but I would say this doesn't tell us that we have to put it into meters or meters per second, so let's just leave it, because then it's less work, right? Yeah. Okay, and then we also know V2 is equal to 60 kilometers an hour, and T2 is equal to 0.5 hours. All right, so now I think, well, what's my formula for average speed? Well, V average is equal to D total over T total. So I don't have my D's, so what do I do? How can I do this formula without my D's?
Would it be V1 times T1?
Because you rearranged your formula. Yes.
No, maybe, but...
Okay, we can use our formula as a V equals D over T to find V1. So, how to rearrange this formula? Well, you guys done rearranged in math class? If you want to solve for this D, right now it is divided by the T.
Would it be V times D equals T?
Almost. Let's just go step by step here. Okay, it's okay. So we're trying to find D. Right now D is divided by T. How do you get rid of T then? What's the opposite of dividing? Multiplying. So we multiply by T. Everything that you do to one side of the equal side, you have to do to the other. So these T's cancel out, and now I'm left with V times T is equal to D. I probably didn't give you enough room on this, so if you're getting crowded, you can take out another piece of paper and follow along. I don't think I gave you enough room. Sorry about that. So also, some of you I know maybe might like the triangle method for doing these things. So if you like the triangle method, actually I should put it on here so they can see too. So the triangle method for how to manipulate a formula, you have one on the top and two on the bottom. Whatever is up here is equal to this times this. Whatever is here is equal to this divided by this. So, how do we put this one in? So let's use this, what we have here. D is equal to V times T. So what goes on the top of the triangle? D goes on the top. D is equal to V times by T. So how to use this triangle? Well, say you're looking for the D, it's V times T. Say you're looking for the V, it's D divided by T. Say you're looking for T, it's D divided by V. So D equals V times T, V equals D divided by T, and T equals D divided by V. You don't need to memorize all of the rearrangings, but you do need to know how to manipulate it. Okay? That's very important. Okay, so anyways, now getting back to this concept of finding D. Finding each D for each of these scenarios. So D1 is equal to V1 times by T1. So D1 is equal to 100 kilometers per hour multiplied by 1.5 hours. Okay, so that's, we have 150 kilometers is our D1. Now let's find our D2. So D2 is going to be this similar formula. D2 is equal to V2 times by T2. So D2 is equal to 60 kilometers an hour multiplied by 0.5 hours. So our D2 is now equal to 30 kilometers. So now we have our D1 and our D2 to put into this formula. Okay. So we had to do an extra step before we went to this formula. In the other questions, we were just given the D's right away. So V average is equal to D1 plus D2 over T1 plus T2. So V average is equal to 150 kilometers plus 30 kilometers divided by 1.5 hours plus 0.5 hours. So our V average then, you guys should put it in, see what you get. What you get? 90. 90 kilometers an hour. And our sig digs are 2, so this is good to go. Okay. Any questions about that one, about 5A? So now we have to do a similar thing for 5B, but using our displacement. So I still know V1 is equal to, because it's V with an arrow now, so now I need to include the direction. So what is my direction of V1? It's going east. So what do we call that, negative or positive? Positive. So I need to label V1 as positive 100 kilometers an hour. T1 stays as 1.5 hours. Other things I know, V2 is equal to now V2, it's going west. West. So that needs to be V2 is negative 60 kilometers an hour. And T2 is equal to 0.5 hours. So we can use the similar formula that was rearranged. We just need to remember to include our directions now, because we're dealing with vector quantities. So to find out displacement 1, I can go velocity 1 multiplied by time 1. So displacement 1 is equal to positive 100 kilometers per hour multiplied by 1.5 hours. Oops. Sorry. So our D1 is positive 150 kilometers. Our D2 is equal to velocity 2 times by T2. So displacement 2 is equal to negative 60 kilometers an hour times by 0.5 hours. So our displacement is equal to negative 30 kilometers. So I'll just ignore this for a bit and I'll use this space to finish this question. Okay, so now we have our D1 and our D2. Because our overall formula we needed was our V average is equal to D total over T total.
So wait, steps.
Oh, yes.
Could you slow down a bit?
Sure, yeah.
I like anything.
Yeah.
Could you just take the D1 and D2 from the first question and use it in the second one?
You could, if you remember to make sure that you were including
Plus and minuses.
your positive and negative. Yes, you totally could do that. I'm just showing the steps of how to do everything, you know, in
Yeah.
case you hadn't done the average speed yet. But yeah, if you can see that, totally.
What's the first D1?
Sorry, this one right here,
No, up,
this one,
no, down.
here,
D1 equals.
V1
V1.
times T1.
Oh.
Yeah, thanks.